What's up, GSL family? It's your girl Miracle Sims, and I am here for this long overdue watch party. Our good sis Allie said that Brother Dustin and Miss Beverly will be going live tonight, and so we are waiting. And so, for those of you all that are here that don't want to go to Rumble, you guys can tune in here, right now. He said I'm keeping my eyes out here to make sure we started on time for y'all. I got it on mute and all that good stuff. But I hope y'all are doing well. I hope all is well. All is well for me. I mean, there's a lot going on this week. Uh, the members, they know a little something that y'all don't know yet. Speaking of that, I'll give a shout out to uh, Miss Lisa Jurek 4051. Became a YouTube member. Now, I don't know if that was today or when that was, but thank you so much for becoming a member. Greatly appreciate it. You know, all support, man. As y'all know, the March, look, we outside next week. That is next Friday. So be on the lookout for that as well. If you guys need more information about the event that we are hosting a information session as well as a prayer walk right afterwards. So that is our way to get outside as requested by my good sis Allie. And yeah, that's what I felt led to do. And so that's what we're doing, y'all. That is what we're going to be doing. Hello, hey from Toronto. Awesome. Let's see here. I thought this was Allie's channel. So I'm glad you're here. I guess maybe you haven't seen any of the videos or the statements or any of the things, but Allie is a dear friend / my sister friend at this point. There's plenty of content that can explain our whole thing. There's a whole playlist dedicated to her and her journey. She came here several times to share her testimony after she went viral in 2020. We actually got a chance to meet last year in person for the first time in 2025. And so, no, this is not Allie's channel, but we are close friends. And she's welcome to share her testimony here, just like any other person that we've shared here. So my name is Miracle. I'm the curator of this channel. But this might as well be Allie's channel, because anytime she wants to come on here or anytime she needs something posted, we do that. And so, yeah. Let's see. Says I just got here. Sorry, I've seen her here once. Got you. No, it's all good. It's all good. I mean, like I said, so the whole thing of how we got involved, I know it's a big story, but basically when she went viral in 2020, I guess I was one of those people that was kind of like watching her at the time and doing more research about the things she's talked about and things like that. And I had offered for her to be on this platform, but regardless of that, I just felt motivated to do something. And so one day, basically, she started talking about how we should put ourselves in the children's shoes and get under tables and things like that. And so I did a video doing what she asked. And I think that's how I ended up standing out to her, because I think I was probably one of the first people to do it at that particular time. So, yeah, so we kind of connected back then in 2020. She's been here, like I said, several times. So she had been here like twice before we got the influx of people. So we were sharing her back then, and then after Diddy got arrested, basically, yeah, that's when everybody started coming here, and everybody thought that this was Allie's channel and all those different things. But yeah, so we've put out several statements over the years. I mean, obviously, we've been in several things together to establish that, two different people, all that type of stuff. But yeah, I do believe that she is telling the truth as well. I was under the impression, Patty Cake said it's supposed to be starting at 8, but yeah, it's not started yet. Let me see. I'm refreshing the page now. So no, it has not started yet. But yeah. So yeah, that's that. I mean, again, y'all can take a look at the Allie Carter playlist here on this channel, and that can explain all the details of all those conversations and how we got involved and all that type of stuff. But Yeah, yeah. I mean, she's family now at this point, and so um, it is what it is. Let's see. Says she predicted all that. Um, I'm not sure what we're talking about in particular, but she has predicted a lot of things that has happened. I will say that. Um, so let's see. Um, how are y'all doing? How are y'all feeling about this upcoming conversation with Mr. Dustin and Miss Beverly? I'm not sure like what they're going to be talking about tonight, and what they're going to be revealing and stuff like that. I know this is a long overdue conversation because it was supposed to happen a few weeks ago, but my understanding is Brother Dustin was under the weather and there was just a lot of stuff going on. So tonight is making up for that, I guess. So yeah. I mean, again, here at GSL, we just try to provide an opportunity and space for um, people to gather here if they don't want to go to Rumble, but then also um, to just acknowledge that sometimes there's a lot of trolls and stuff. And so here we try to, keep it nice, positive. You know what I'm saying? Usually I pray before we get started, like pray for the whole thing. Shout out to my husband being a distraction right now. I love you, husband. um, but yeah, so um, and we can do that actually. That might be good for us to do. Let me refresh one more time to make sure that we're not missing it, and we're not. So if you don't mind, let us go ahead and pray. Pray over this chat, pray over this evening and this conversation, and we're gonna see what the Lord do with all of it, right? But Lord, I just want to say thank you, Lord. Thank you for this day. Thank you for everybody that is here gathered to hear what I guess you want to say through us or say to us through Mr. Dustin and Miss Beverly today. I pray that they continue to just share the truth and nothing but the truth. I pray that um, eyes and ears are able to perceive it, especially in this day and time when there's so much going on. Um, I pray that we all, get a righteous anger within us to be willing to stand for the voiceless and stand for those that aren't able to stand for themselves and speak for themselves. And as we prepare to do that next week, I pray that this conversation goes well, the chat goes well, and that all things be done decent and in order. And Lord, just keep your protection over my sister Allie and Miss Shelley, Lord, as they continue to travel all around, trying to stay safe, but then also trying to share with us the evils of this world. And just thank you for everything you're doing with us, for us, and through us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen, y'all. Amen, amen. Let me go and refresh again. Um, but yeah, I hope y'all are good, man. Thank you to those that are tuning in here because y'all could have just went to Rumble. Y'all didn't have to watch it here. So thank you for doing that. And if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns before we get going that I can answer about me, the platform, Allie, anything, feel free to throw them in the comments, and I will do my best to answer those things before the show starts. I don't know what to expect. Oh, by the way, Allie was live earlier today, and so we shared that. If you missed it, you can catch the replay um, as well to hear, what she had to say about the marches, and she's looking for some assistance in certain areas. So for those that don't understand what's happening with the marches, she's asking people like everywhere we are to stand wherever you are. It looks like they're getting going, so I'm gonna go, and I'll see y'all after.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Truth Be Told. I am your host, Dustin Faulkner.
And I'm Beverly Gillen. We're back.
And we're glad. Sorry about that. I didn't know you were saying it. All right, guys, man, hey, it feels like Beverly an eternity since I
It
have been
does.
on here and broadcasting and with Truth Be Told, with Battlefront Frontline, with everything on Battlefront Broadcasting Network, period. I feel like I've been in this cave of misery, one thing after another, since the last time that we had a program on here, and that was when we did uh, the militia, and right after that, everything just spiraled into oblivion on this side for sure. And one thing happened after another. I won't disclose everything, but there are some really bad personal issues I'm still going through. But it's all just piled on to where I ended up getting shingles. I literally got shingles because the stress had become so strong on this. And but you go through these things, and what was it, 3 weeks ago?
Right.
It's like everything just really starts coming at you, and you're like, man, things are really going great, and they were going great. We were starting because I'm working on some other things that we're going to be doing, and things were getting better. Then, boom! Just when you think that you've got the momentum going, things occur, and I feel like I've been in this like hole of oblivion, and you know what? I was so like in this, but I never was. I'd say demotivated. Like the first week, I'd say I was when this one thing happened, because I thought that's it. I've lost it all. But then, I moved really fast. I was able to, go around it. It's not perfect, but it's working right now. But then other things occurred, and it's like boom, boom, boom. Then she goes, you're like, man, dude, you're in so much pain. It's hard to focus on anything. I couldn't imagine that I would have ever gotten something like this, but I did it. And so I want to thank right now. I think I need to say this right now. Every single one of you out there who took the time to email me, text me, say things to me on social media, to have any kind of concern of somebody that you guys don't even really know, but to care enough that there was something that happened to me, and it bothered you to that extent that you wanted to find out, that goes a long way. Because I'm telling you that when you do these kinds of things, it's a very unforgiving industry. It's especially unforgiving when people want to stop you from doing what you're doing, and they have a purpose to do it. You get thanks from things, but people can say thanks, but you guys really showed thankfulness and appreciation for me as a person, that you cared enough that you prayed for me. Many of you fasted for me, because I'm telling you, it was difficult, and I thought that I was never going to make it back up. But I knew I wasn't going to quit. As a leader, you got to be able to handle things. I don't like to show a lot of like weakness or emotion or anything, but I'm at a very weak point, and I don't want people to know that and see that, especially when you deal with other people that use that and can twist it and lie about it. When you're in a battle, you don't ever want the enemy to know that you're down. But even lies were told about that. People thought they stopped me. Not even, just in general. I got a lot of people out there that do not like what I do. In any aspect, not just with the Allie and Shelley thing, but with anything. They don't want me, because I'm going to do whatever it takes to tell the truth. And I'm not somebody who attaches myself to things. I'm about getting the facts out, and you got to kind of detach sometimes. But it's hard not to be attached to certain things. It's emotional, and you get to know people. But anyway, thank all of you for the prayers and everything like that, because it means a lot to me that you cared enough, that I was important for even just a few moments in your life, to even with all of the things that many of you go through, personally and in the past and the things that you deal with. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for seeing me as somebody that you cared about, and I won't forget it. I Many people do, especially when you grow in this industry and you get a lot of success. I've seen people just forget where they came from. I've been doing this for 10 years. I can tell you, there's no way I can forget where I came from because it's been a powerhouse of difficulties, and you'll never forget that. And I think that that's why I go through these things, is that it keeps me humble and it keeps me in humility that I really can't do everything alone. And if it wasn't for people like Beverly, and if it wasn't for people out there, because we depend on you, we depend on you viewing our material, sharing our material, talking about it, having conversations in these things, because nobody can see anything unless it's you people. Nobody can get the truth out unless it's you people. We could be yelling into the void, but you've allowed that not to occur. Instead, you take the message and you keep it going. So we 100%, this organization depends upon people like you. So I appreciate it. But anyway, so we're going to be doing something different tonight. Obviously, Beverly came up with a really good idea, and I think that this is probably a good time for you guys to get to know who we are, to actually hear from our mouths the truths about things that maybe you might be guessing it or hearing it from other outlets or reading it on the internet, because you dig far enough, you can find anything you want to and make a story about it. But we're going to interview one another. So everybody's going to be interviewing me here first segment. But we're going to get into some truths and address some things. And some of it might get pretty personal, to be honest with you. I am a very private person, whether anybody believes that or not. And there's a reason I am, because you got to protect as much of your personal life as you can, because when you're a public, people will want to destroy you in any way that they can, and they'll lie about it. And many of you know that. But the fact is I have to protect others, and unfortunately, they knew that when you do this kind of thing, that they're always going to be at risk of that, and so they know it's going to happen, and they're ready for it. It's kind of like, one day that you're going to have to face Christ, so you might as well endure through that and never relent. But anyway, I'm gonna do something real quick, Beverly, before we move on to the interview process. So let me do some housekeeping real quick. So, ladies and gentlemen, before you go, to make sure that you are checking us out on Pickaxe Social. You will see the QR codes popping up there. The apps are out on Android and on iOS. Fantastic stuff. You want to go there, freedom of speech and freedom of reach. The algorithms will not control what you see. The AI will not be controlling what you see, because it's not existing here. You are the algorithm. In the conversations and the real personal touch of being able to get with the people on a social platform, and to be able to be content creators and have a go at it without something telling you can't say that. But so go there, check all that out, guys. It is out. Also, make sure that you are going and checking out companies, especially when we're dealing with the things that we are right now, with all of the things to be out there keeping us down. We still see companies continue to push things out there that make things worse for us as Americans. But this company right here is with your mobile device. It's one of the most important things in your hand. You're probably watching on it right now. Go there right now to patriotmobile.com/battlefront. Guys, First Amendment, Second Amendment, the right to life, sanctity of life, that's the unborn and the living right now. These people support that. And that's why you need to vote with your money. Even with the big towers and the big companies of the wireless providers, they aren't doing that. And they are training people actively to look into you and to do the weaponized DOJ. Guys, that's not gone. We already know that. But we need to be able to support in things that will continue to take their money, because obviously when they make money, they're going to be donating to other things themselves. This company doesn't do that. So go there right now, patriotmobile.com/battlefront. And with the code Battlefront, you will get your first month free. But go check it out. They have access to the big 3 major towers. That means you can switch seamlessly in between all of the towers if you're not getting a good signal. But go and check it out. It's really important that you go and see a company that represents your value. So, all right, got all of that out of the way. Let's go ahead and get into this. I think that you guys are going to be pleased with this tonight, and I hope that it does help address some things. So, Beverly, I'm going to switch it around here, and let's go ahead and begin.
Dustin's in the hot seat.
So I'm ready.
I've been waiting on that. No, I'm playing. No. Okay. Well, I guess we. Thank you. I guess we can. Sorry, kid. We can start off by the beginning. You were born a Texas boy, or you were?
I am
born
100% from Texas. I have not been here all of my life because obviously I did go and live in various other places because I was in the military. But generally, I would say that for the most of my life, I am Texan. I am native Texan. I have been born here. And that's why I fight so strongly for it. That's why I'm very, very politically involved because we're at our last stand as it is. And this is one of the Texas is two things. It's the greatest state and also the worst state because there's obviously great things about the state of Texas, that we live in, and I love it here. We still have the ability to stand strong, make money. Our gas prices are better right now than people. But there's also other problems because Texas is a very strong state for human trafficking. Texas is a very strong state for violating your rights personally, property rights, all kinds of issues there. So some of the best and worst things come here from Texas. Remember Roe versus Wade come from Texas. Remember all of these things that when you get, so basically they say everything's bigger in Texas. I'd say so. Everything's bigger with strong Republicans and strong conservatives or out there Christianity or when you got a leftist, boy, do you have one when it's in Texas. So, yes, 100% from Texas. And I don't know if John Cornyn gets in. I might not be from Texas for long, but we'll see.
Oh, no. Well, on that note, no. So, were you born in a large family or a small family?
I come from a small family. I have two. I have a brother and a sister. My parents were married all of my life, so I didn't get a brother. My sister and I are about a year apart. I didn't get a brother until I was 16. So my mom and dad waited a long time, I guess, and had another one. But yeah, small family. I am from the country. Basically, let me put it this way: I grew up on well water. I grew up where you'd have to have days where that pump stopped working, and it was constant struggle. But I would never go back on that lifestyle. In fact, that's where I want to be. I love isolation. I don't want to be isolated every single moment of my life, but I love to be able to escape from that, and that's where I grew up from. I mean, literally, basically. I stayed outside all the time. You go behind the house and hunt, or you could be in the creek. Getting bit by a snake is a normal occurrence, things like that. So yeah, small family, but very, very, pretty much quiet country life. I mean, my dad, my father had two previous marriages. Obviously, those two previous marriages impacted even our lives at that point, not in the best ways, but yeah. So. Small family, yeah.
So you're the oldest?
I am the oldest.
Ah. So when did you go into the military?
So
right out of high school?
Basically, I spent some time in high school because I did journalism and everything anyway. That was always what I've wanted to do with my life. But I ended up starting to work for the WB. In high school, I had my own show there on that network. And when you're 16 years old and you get something like that, that's really kind of it makes the outlook on your life like you own the world. Everything's going your way. So even after the show, I did go on to work still, went to NBC, the local affiliate. I did various other work there, including camera operation. I learned all of the broadcasting, the editing, all of the things that it takes. But I did not get along with my family. And I also, there was a girl that I was with, and I wanted to marry her. Or, well, at least I thought that's what women wanted to hear. Apparently not, but I wanted to marry the girl, and her dad hated me, and rightfully so. I was, I wouldn't say rambunctious compared to now. I wouldn't go back and do the things that I've done. I didn't do like anything criminal or anything like out there, but I was rebellious. I didn't get along with my family, and I wasn't somebody that could have taken care of his daughter. But he didn't like me. So I weighed those things that, look, I want to change. And I don't know any other way to do it unless somebody has intervenes, to speak. So what I did is I went in the military. I thought that would impress him. It didn't impress her. She dumped me for it. And that was rough. Selfish. Like by today's standard, if we would have had the internet, she would have been a very embarrassed person, because she would have been shamed into oblivion because you dumped somebody who was going to serve his country. I actually did. I had the world in the palm of my hand at that point, because even I scored very high on the ASVAB, higher than many people had done in 10 years in this area. So I basically could choose any job I wanted. In fact, they offered me a $50,000 sign-on bonus just to join. And we weren't in war at that time. And so you're 18 years old, $50,000, that's a lot of money. And so that was outside of the GI Bill and any other thing. I got to choose my MOS and airborne. So, and I was a really strong athlete then. I was very, very good condition. So I was what they called a PT stud. And so I did very well on testing and everything. But like many other things in my life, things happen. And but I did go in there pretty much after high school. I spent around a year or so in there. I had a tumultuous time in the military. I cut fingers off. I ended up fracturing my spine. I tried to hide that too. In fact, I still ran 2 miles. I did under 10 minutes, 2 miles. Even then with fractured spine, I was missing vertebrae. So they kept me sleeping on the floor during a time period because we were on lockdown that the towers fell. And I was sent to get looked at. And that really started to move me. That caused a problem being with my MOS, and especially when you're airborne and doing things like that, because then you are a liability to the military and to the unit and your fellow soldiers around you. So they transitioned me out. So I basically lost a lot of stuff at that point. But I would go back. I fought it. I wanted to. I fought for benefits, but after a while, I didn't feel like fighting with the VA, and already was at a point in my life then, around 20 years old, that I was very depressed about it. It bothered me. Still, you can ask me things like that, and then if I'm, depending on the state of mind I'm in, I get annoyed or mad, or because it caused me a lot of problems. Let me just say it. I mean, I had the world in the palm of my hands. I thought I was going everywhere, anywhere in life. I thought that I was going to have all of the things that I want, and I was getting those. And I had a lot of dreams with the military, guys, because when I went in, it did not take me long to change. It was something that I knew I was probably going to make a career out of. And this is coming from somebody who wanted to be an actor and be a journalist. I was writing then screenplays, stuff like that. But it was rough. And I even got Article 15 while I was in there. For those don't know what that is, it is a UCMJ action against you, and that was because I got caught sneaking back in the barracks. I was drunk. out was
Oh,
beer and free pool night. But when you're on lockdown, and your unit's not allowing you to go outside of the base, which I got in trouble, and the ire of the commanding officer, being a woman, made it much worse on me because they got things they have to prove, and I got an Article 15. I lost a rank, obviously, but that was during a period when I was already fighting with them to stay in. But I got out. I spent a number of times. I tried to go back to NBC, but I was pretty much blacklisted from that. They did not want me back because they were very angry. I left to join the Army. And when you're in that environment, especially when you're dealing with liberal journalists and stuff like that, which is all inside of those, especially with local affiliates, they did not want me back. And so I was lost for a period of time in my 20s, I'd say.
mm. So then after that is when you met your beautiful and wonderful wife, not me, the other one, the actual wife, the one that you actually have at home.
The actual one. So yeah, actually during this time period, when I came back, there was a friend of mine named Miranda, and they were all excited that I was back and everything, right? And she took me over another friend's house, and then I ended up meeting Claire through them. And there wasn't anything like that because at that time I was actually with another woman, and because I met somebody when I was in, and I cared a lot for her, and was going to come back here, and we were going to make a life choice to come back here. Didn't work out, but it lasted probably another year after that, I guess. And I met Claire, and Claire, I was not Claire's type. I can affirm to that and attest to that because Claire was devoutly Catholic, and yeah, devoutly Catholic. So she was never around drinking. She was never really around partying, all of that stuff. And I did that. And, but, kind of, and Claire was quiet then. She's not now. But when I met Claire, she was pretty much an introvert. So, yeah, I met her during that period of time. But we've been together since 2003. And it was nothing I seen coming. Honestly, because like I said, I was going back and forth to Georgia with somebody I was with that we were planning on probably getting married and all of this stuff. But that one ended up deciding that it's better to whore around and be with somebody like me that's awesome. But so Claire and I, we all hung out each other. We've always had this group of friends that we've spent our whole lives with. That's where Claire comes from. So we've all really never parted from each other. I have still this circle of friends. We don't see each other much because we all have different things that we do, especially when you're doing stuff like this, very busy. One of them, my best friend, Colin, he does his own thing. But also another one, Dustin Smith, he's a friend of mine, got a great band called Indulge. So he's very busy with all of that. But yeah, been with Claire since 2003. We married in 2008. And that was by force.
Was she holding the gun, or were you? No.
Well, a pastor, because we did at that time, because remember, I'm still at this job trying to climb this corporate ladder. I'm not in journalism or anything at this point right now. Being a dumb 20-something-year-old and partying, and because I really don't care about my future at this point. I didn't know what anything else I could do. Because I felt I didn't really have guidance like that. And it's not that my parents were bad, but my dad worked all the time, worked 2 jobs. And my mom, she always taught us the best you can. A lot of my values come from my parents. That's why I wanted to go in the Army, because I wanted the respect of my father, who was very proud, and I wanted the respect of my mom, and I wanted the respect of this girl's dad, who absolutely hated me. But yeah, so that we ended up there was a pastor who was giving me hard. Claire and I were living together at the time, right? Which I do not condone. But even I thought I was a Christian then. I tell you, I wasn't. I was like a lot of people that say they are, but they're not. But I don't condone that. This whole living partner stuff is go by wayside. It's first of all, it's against God's design, and nothing good comes of that. In fact, the statistics even show that the divorce rate is much higher with people who live together beforehand or fornicate beforehand, things like that. It doesn't really tend to work out. By the grace of God, ours has in the determination and also becoming Christians. But so we were at this function, and I did really well with it. We did a really good MLM, I loved it because about this time I'm really learning things about business, and my mindset's starting to change, and I'm realizing I can really do something in life. And so we're doing that. And one day we're there, and then he's giving us a hard time. They wouldn't even let us sleep in the same room, because he's pastor. And but he told me that she was going to end up marrying a millionaire, and said, and it kind of made me mad. So it kind of pushed that jealousy button. And Claire was kind of like, well, we've been together this long, you need to figure out what you're going to do, kind of thing. So I embarrassed her and got on stage in front of 1,000 people or whatever, and told everybody we're getting married, and that's how it happened. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, and but we've been married, gosh, I don't know, 17 years, I think. 2008, is that 17 years? 18 years. Whoa,
A
is it
day or
18
two.
years? Yeah, something like that. But yeah, so that is who I'm married to. I'm not married to Beverly Gillen, as many people would want to say, or having a side piece love fest with Beverly.
No, no.
I know
More
that
like
I know I'm
siblings.
yeah, I'm a Casanova, but I don't think that Beverly's much interested in that either. So yeah,
No, no.
Claire's my wife.
I kind of like Claire a little bit too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess yeah, I don't really have any other major questions for you there, Dustin. I know you
Cool.
you thought I was gonna hang you out to dry,
I thought
but
you were going to really hang me out to dry here.
no,
So,
that's
but
my job. That's my job.
no, the more that people can question things about me, it's better for me that way, because I'm really a transparent person. I'm private, but
Right.
I won't lie to you. Just like I tell you, the military thing was a sticking issue with me, because it was something that it was a letdown for me. And it took me a long time before I would call myself a veteran, but it took many other service members that got me that way, because I wanted to die for my country, and I still will die for my country. The military 100% changed me as a person, even though I went through a struggle. And it's a high honor to go for somebody, because many people are so stinking selfish, or if they after my time, the military started becoming woke, so they're all going in to get their genitals and stuff cut off and on the taxpayer dime. So it's became a social engineering experiment. Before that, us dudes and women were going in to serve the country, and there's nothing I think that has a better calling than that is for a man to serve and die for his country. That's the way I see things. If there's any way that I would want my family and people who care about me to see me go, it's serving somebody. It's
Right.
it's fighting for somebody. And that's where my mindset was. I didn't know, even later on, because I was lied to, but that I could have found the right doctor and gotten back in. I didn't know that, though. I was explained differently. In fact, my DD 214 isn't even accurate. But that's how bad the military was, especially with VA and all of those. They cast us aside, and did things like that. They told me I was a cripple when I came in, even though I could run, a 9:45 2 mile. That's was unheard of.
Yeah.
But it's things like that. I still have benefits and stuff. But I didn't think I deserved any kind of disability or anything anyway, because I can work and I can do the things, and there's men. and women who go in there and they don't have limbs, and then they don't want to even get disability. I think that they go too far now with what they give disability to people, and it's become a welfare system. Yeah, I could probably still fight it and get it. I don't think I ever will, though. If I did, I'd get a lot of money in back pay. Then for sure, Battlefield Broadcast Network would be a huge organization. So, because then I could hire all the journalists and everything that we do need desperately, so that we can, get the truth out and can help people, because that's what journalism is. It's the truth, and it's to be able to have something there that people can't hide from, and the information is out there for them. So really, this is the best service I believe that I can do for my country, or for anyone for that matter. And it's a high honor, I think, and it's a huge responsibility. So many people have turned it into a stupid, game, but that is the case. I mean, but that's where we are. So I guess what we'll do here next is I'm gonna be a little less generous.
We'll come back, and we'll come back to you.
Yeah. So let's go to a break real quick, and then get our bearings together and go from there.
Well, before we do, I do want to tell you thank you for your service, Dustin, and you deserve that.
I appreciate that, and I did, and I got hurt, and I still suffer tremendously with health problems because of that. I just never got to see wartime. I didn't. I was injured in a training exercise. And that's, even back then, to me, it was embarrassing to say, but it is what it is. I'm not the only one who's ever done that. I had an honorable service, except for the Article 15, but I'm just the one who got caught. Let me put it that way. Most servicemen are out there screwing around, I promise you. So I got caught, and I was very, very drunk. I mean, like, way drunk. And I'll never forget it, because the arresting MP officer was Sergeant Gump. And
oh, Lord.
It probably did not help. It did not help my matters any with getting in trouble with the commanding officer and getting Article 15 by doing the things that I did. Great time, though. So great time. Anyway, let's go to a break, and I appreciate you're welcome. I would do it all over again. 100%. I miss it. So let's go to a break, and we'll be right back. And then it's Beverly next.
All right, you guys. So
hi, friends. Dr. Mark Sherwood here.
Their break,
and I'm Dr. Michelle.
Because we got flagged, I think, last time from their from their stuff. How are y'all feeling? I've been in the chat and everything. Let me see. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm pretty up to date on what y'all have been saying in the chat. Well, it's interesting. I think it's good for people to control their own narratives, because, again, people can say anything about you, right? And so it's good for you to go ahead and, like, be an open book. Like, I'm the same way. Y'all can ask me anything, and I'll just answer and tell you the truth, because at the end of the day, like, there's no need to lie. You know, again, this platform is created to be open, honest, and transparent. So I get that, you know. And I mean, you know, we dealt with our share of smear in issues and you know, negative feedback and stuff like that, and false narratives being created about, you know, me, and they even brought my husband into it, they brought my son into it, all because I love and support Allie. And so at the end of the day, like, you know, I know Dustin and Beverly are going through their own share of that as well. Again, I haven't paid any attention to what the adversary or the other side is saying, and stuff. But just every now and then, people, you know, they may send me things that they feel like it's important for me to know that they're saying. But actually, it's been kind of quiet, which is probably a good thing, you know. So maybe just, you know, the extra prayer, I don't know, but yeah, it's been kind of quiet since we cleaned some stuff up on our end. I think he might still be doing a ad, but let me check and see.
Broadcasting Network. I'm joining you right now to tell you about a revolution.
Yeah. Okay. Just checking. But yeah, it's best to be open, honest, and transparent. So then at the end of the day, like I said, I wasn't worried about any of the things that the people had to say about me. Because at the end of the day, I know what the truth is, you know. And again, even when they made up stuff about me and my husband, it's like when they were saying all this stuff, me and Allie had never met in person. We had only been communicating online. Now we have met, you know, and stuff, and we've had a couple of times, but that's still only like a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm seeing her all the time or something. So, um, the narratives that I did hear apparently that people were saying is that like we was in cahoots with Miss Shelley somehow, and that we were trafficking Allie, and that I guess I had did things to her in her childhood. Apparently, it's from those people because it's like they were just making up so many narratives and things, and like I said, dragging my husband into it, drag my kid. But you know, the truth is stood, and at the end of the day, I didn't have any thing to worry about because I'm again open, honest, and transparent. So yeah, let's see. Um, we have Laura here saying that everyone has done things that they are not proud of, that they wish they could change. But the fact is that we never done anything that these predators have done. They need to be locked up. I agree. I agree with that. It's so when Allie was live earlier, I was curious about her opinion about this whole whatever is happening between President Clinton and his wife, these questionings or whatever. I'm like, I feel like it's theater. I haven't really watched much of any of it because I just feel like I don't know. Are y'all asking her about frazzle drip? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, but apparently they did bring up Priestgate, and then apparently they brought up the blue dress to Bill Clinton. But I mean, again, maybe I need to watch it so I can have more opinions to say about it. But from what I saw, I just was like, I don't know if I can even take any of it seriously because it's like y'all are asking these people questions or random questions or something. But it's like, are you guys asking the stuff we really need to know? Are they under, like, is this a trial? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is this something that's about, like, it just seems like, oh, we're going to come in and answer some questions for y'all. Like, I don't know. I don't know how y'all feel about that. Y'all let me know. Are y'all paying attention to those things? I know a few weeks ago I saw that Ghislaine Maxwell had some type of questioning session or something, and she basically started it off by saying, "Oh, I'm going to plead the fifth on everything." And it's like, really? Like, what? That's just wasting everybody's time. Looks like they're back though.
Still sticking around. We got a lot. Tonight is the night that we are asking some questions, kind of putting some personal stories out there because I think this is really good for an audience to be able to get to know know us a little bit better, so that you know where we come from straight. Because when we're on here, you always see us interviewing the people, and you get to hear how we're quizzing people and putting them on the spot, and then them having to tell their stories. And especially when we talk about something like this is another reason that I did this, because Beverly can attest to this. I did not want to talk about the Army thing. It was a very, very big sticking point in my life. I still get, bothered by it because I didn't finish. And it's not my fault, but like I said, I had a lot of money to serve there. I got all I wanted and lost it due to, getting hurt. But there's some things out there that people are taking a truth and a lie and mixing that together and saying that. But I knew that if somebody like Allie can get on here and us dig up her past and her life and her relive that, what kind of a person am I if I can't relive something that is not even close to what she went through? Now there's still things about me that we haven't even said on here. As in fact, here after I get through a Beverly for a few questions, I'm going to be looking into the comments, and you guys can ask about it, and then we'll see what we'll say to you. But I'm going to open it up to that, and I'll look and see if there's anything in there, and I'll answer a question or two, and so will Beverly, and then we'll end it for the night, because like I said, this is about we're kind of exposing ourselves a little here. I'm not bothered by being put on the spot. Just certain things might, especially if I'm in a certain mood, like it could hit me a way that I get annoyed by it. But it didn't bother me this time. But I'm glad to get that out. Now you guys know, and on other issues too. You also know that I'm not married to Beverly. You know, we probably wouldn't work out real well because she'd end up killing me. Believe me. So I'm not the easiest person to live with. Whenever Claire's around and you guys ever get to meet her, I promise you, ask her. I'm not.
She's a saint.
Yeah. My father used to say that you know, would always tell her that she needed a trophy. So stuff like that. But
I did forget to ask you something though, and this is like the most personal question.
What is that?
Is your bedroom green?
Oh. So I like green, but my bedroom is not green. In fact, we have a lovely bedroom way away from the studio here. If you ever seen green because a screen might have shot up, I don't like letting you guys see behind the wires because you lose the mystique of that. I heard somebody from Disney say that on stage when I was sitting there at a conference. And it really made sense to me because people appear behind the curtain, it loses all of the magic of being in that. So yeah, obviously I have green screen in the studio. It is a industry standard. You guys watch it on TV all the time. But no, as much as I'd love a green room, I probably would go mad in a green room because you got to have other colors in there. So no, I do not have a green bedroom.
Okay. Well, sorry, I forgot to ask that a while ago, but that was very pressing. You know.
Yeah, I think that is
very important question.
Right on. Let me do this real quick, Beverly, and then I'm going to put you on the spot. All right. So again, guys, obviously you guys know that I'm a big time holistic health person, especially after COVID. And you know, before that I wasn't. All right. We went to doctors and I still go to doctors. Well, you got to drag me to a doctor, but I think that there's a place for acute medicine and treatment of that. There's just some things you can't do. And you know, we have some of the best kind here in the United States, even though it's really deteriorating fast because they've even turned that into an industry of wokeness and profiting off of you. But I know that one of the greatest things, my voice is, you know, during this period of time, my voice also starting to come back again. I've struggled with it for years because I got very, very sick and I work really hard and I would not quit even when people in this industry were telling me to take a break. And because I was sick and was sick for months, I ended up passing out in a parking lot, which sent me to the hospital. So I wouldn't quit. So it strained my voice and caused a problem there. But during this period of time when we down with the shingles, it was starting to come back. But obviously, it's bothering me again now because of allergies. But that's because of natural health care. And the things that I did with the shingles was natural health care to help me to get through this. But one of the ways that you guys can go and check out is something that this guy right here, Robertson. Guys, a lot of things have been said about things like Laetrile and amygdalin, B17, to scare you away from that. Obviously, Dr. Robertson treated back in the 60s one of his nurse's sisters, and it helped kill her cancer when she was by the Kaiser Institute, was diagnosed with a deadly terminal cancer, and it went away when they went back to all the scans. And that's because she was eating things like apricot seeds. Guys, we've had Rick Hill on here, 75. Looks great. I'll be having on soon again Richardson's son, and he's going to come on here on one of the shows and talk with us about what they're doing here with this. It's very extraordinary. But if you go there and look at all the testimonials and see the things that it's done to help heal people, you'll be pleasantly surprised. So go there to rccstore.com/battle and rccstore.com/battle. Start with 3-4 seeds a day. Check out those apricot seeds, guys. They're raw. and they deliver the B17 and stuff into people that makes them able to start curing other kinds of ailments. It's very good for your immune system and has a lot of benefits in there. So go check it out and read the testimonials. Don't just take my word for it. Go and see for yourselves. You can also see all of the other things that they have there for your kids and stuff like that. But check it out. Scan QR codes you see pop up, and you will be pleasantly surprised. rcs.com/battle. With the code battle, you can also get 10% off of everything there, and you help support this organization by doing that. So I really appreciate that as well. We choose our sponsors carefully. Nobody just gets to sponsor us, by the way. So Beverly.
Dun, dun, dun.
Since you asked me, I don't even know this. Are you originally from Texas?
I am originally from Texas. I am. I was born in a little tiny town that's not even on the map. Well, I mean, we had to go to another hospital that was a little bit out of the town that wasn't on the map, and another town that wasn't on the map. And yeah, I've resided here my entire life.
So you went to school here and you did all of that. So
yeah, did all that.
Going through life in your early childhood, obviously you've talked about some of that here with when you were interviewing Allie about what she went through. And, I'm not bringing that up or anything because you've already said it, which I know is very difficult for you to say because of what you went through. But as a child, what kind of things started moving you to your decision making as you went into your teens? What are some of the things and the aspects that you went through that developed you into the person you were going in to be later in life, through your childhood?
Well, actually, Dustin, I was born to a widow. My mother and father had been married for 6 months when he passed away. They did not know they were expecting me to come along. Step parents sometimes aren't the greatest, and having a single mom raising a little girl is not either. It kind of earmarks a child for predators to go after them. And so from a young age, because of me not having the father in my life to defend me or protect me, I fell victim of some terrible people that did terrible things to me, and it continued on until my later adult life. And actually, I didn't realize how broken I was until I was at work one day and I was sexually assaulted. And this happened 8 years ago, so not too awfully far back. And with that, usually it would tear you up, but instead it forced me into a healing process from everything that happened to me as a child. And then we started doing the shows with Betty on and things like that, and every single thing had been a stair step to my healing. This was even before I met Allie or spoke to her, or even heard her story. And we were doing the shows with Betty Simmons, and I was being forced into a path where I had to deal with some junk from childhood, and it was hard. And then one day I was scrolling on social media, and there was Allie, and she was, like you said, she was stronger than most people. She was very strong, and she was telling what the hell she had been through, and it was definitely a wake up. And I've heard comments, well, is Beverly just doing this because she can recognize those feelings from Allie? No, that's not the reason we were doing this well before that. But I can say that Allie and the group of people that Allie has around have offered so much healing that I never thought I would be able to obtain. And not only that, I didn't even realize I needed it. I didn't realize how broken I was.
Yeah, that's incredible. So obviously you entered into adulthood, and you've had children, and obviously you got children much older than mine, and they're not mine people. So, but no matter what people might start cooking up, but
you haven't even met them. I did.
Yeah. So tell me a little about that. What made you decide to have? What was your outlook of you wanting children, and then deciding you were going to adopt children? What led you to move that direction?
I wasn't going to adopt children. That was not in my plan. Although I would do anything for any child, period, to help them. I had not thought about that because I have kids of my own, and I have a large family. My children are not only children. So that was not something that I had planned in my mind. But there was this young lady that came into my life, and she was 8 years old. And, children, you kind of get what God gives you, when you have your own children. But I got to know her before I got her, and it was a blessing. And I loved her before she became my child. It was entirely different. And she was in a situation where she was in foster care, and I took custody of her through the foster care system, and I wound up legally adopting her. And gosh, she's been my kid for forever, it seems like. And once she was adopted, it seemed like she always had belonged. And then the young man that I've adopted, he's a grown man, and he was a grown man when I adopted him. He needed a family, and I feel like God sent him to me. And I'm a very strong believer in God, and I think He orchestrates everything in our life. And He knew I needed them as much as they needed me.
Right. So this I got a couple of other questions. It's kind of related. So obviously you said that, you obviously didn't have a father, and then going with a single mother and step parents. Do you think that it's essential, and that played a part in that the lack of a father figure there played a part in some of the hard difficulties growing up in life, and it has impacted you up to this point in a negative way?
Yes. I think that the Bible's very clear about that we're supposed to father the fatherless for a reason. And if you look statistically, girls that are raised without dads usually wind up down pretty rough, bumpy roads. That's because a girl needs her dad.
So you would say that it actually endangers the children more without the father figure, a good father figure there. That it is essential for even for girls, especially, to have that in their lives. And without it, it typically causes more pain and destruction in choices later in life.
Definitely, definitely. And I mean, not even the girl's choice. The way guys treat girls that don't have dads
Mm.
is entirely different. A young man comes to date your daughter, he's going to see you, he's going to be on his best behavior. A young man comes to date a woman that doesn't, or a young lady that doesn't have a dad in the home. They think they can bulldoze over a mom. They think that, I mean, so it kind of puts you in a position to be potentially abused.
Right. And if you really think about it, when about my personal story regarding that, why I went in the military, why it is exactly affirms what you just said there, that because I wanted to gain the respect of her father,
Right.
and she had a good father. I kill that joker, but I wouldn't say that I was also the perfect person for her.
Right.
I thought I wanted to be, but I think that because of the father there, it caused me to make better decisions even for myself.
Right.
And that's why I think that's, you make a really good valid point with that, about the need for that. So,
And you have the boyfriends that come along that want to date the mom because the little girl's in the home, things like that still play into, a huge part of what happens to little girls that are being raised by a single mom. You know,
yeah,
mom's desperate for the kid to have a dad, so, oh, we'll stay here with your dad, and it's not your dad, and they know they're not your dad, and what are they going to do to you?
right. So let me swing this way now that we got on that, and let's talk about your doctorate, because obviously you're doing medical malpractice, and you need to
If
have
I
your
were a
license
medical
revoked.
doctor, they would have to change my name to Dr. Kill 'em Quick.
Yeah.
I'm not even good with the Band-Aid. Sorry, guys. No, no, that's not me. I'm not. No, 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 definitely not.
So
No,
tell us about that. Tell us what your expertise is, what made you decide to go into that expertise, and how it's impacting your life being from that expertise.
well, when I first got out of high school, I was working for a sports magazine as one of their journalists. I hated it, did not like it, did not want to be a journalist, wanted the furthest thing from that, not my thing at that time because I was a child and I didn't think like I think now. So when I got out of high school, I went to college to be a deaf education teacher. I did my student teaching at Texas Academy for the Deaf that used to be in Houston, Texas. Um, I taught third grade math to deaf girls. I quickly realized that that was not the career choice I needed. Some people are really great at that, and those kids are brilliant, but I did not have the patience that was required for me to teach deaf children math.
Mm.
I'm terrible with math anyway. So that was like a lose-lose situation there. So then I went back to school and I was like, I'm gonna find my knack. I'm gonna find what I want to do. And that's another thing with being raised with a single mom. She had to work a lot. She was out of the house a lot. There were a lot of undecisiveness situations in my own mind. I couldn't make up my mind what I wanted to do or where I wanted to go or any of those things. Well, I went back to school to be an equine therapist, and that's people with mental health or people that are healing. They can go brush a horse, ride a horse, participate with equine, and it's supposed to be very therapeutic.
Mm.
I got almost to the end of my degree for that. And I ran into this gentleman that was at a rally that I just happened to be at. And he decided to tell me that I needed to be a journalist. Nah, I think you might have the wrong person. Well, we played cat and mouse for a little bit, and then finally he talked me into going into journalism for him. And when I did, I decided, oh, I do like this. This is what I like. But it was not sports, and that's why that the sports thing didn't hit me right, because I don't play sports. I'm not a sportsy kind of person. So it was foreign to me. Well, I started doing the journalism at political rallies and protests, things like that. And I realized I really, really enjoyed that. But it was completely a different type. So I went back to school to get my degree in journalism. You don't need a degree in journalism. I didn't have to have it. I did that for my own self. I had not finished anything my whole life, and that was troubling to me. It really bothered me that, I couldn't look at my kids and say, hey, I need you to finish this, if I couldn't finish anything on my own. So I went back to school and got my doctorate in journalism. I really don't tell many people because I didn't do it for anybody. I didn't do it for a job. As a matter of fact, you didn't even know about it for the longest because it wasn't a big topic. It wasn't something that I really even talked about. I did it for myself. I don't have it hanging on my wall. It's not to advertise to anyone. It's just something I felt like I needed to do for me.
Right. That's interesting that you also said that you hadn't felt like you had never finished things in your life. And I look back and, you didn't ask me any of those questions, but I'll put it out there that that's the way I feel. And that's why the whole military thing was always a sticking point with me, because it bothered me tremendously that I didn't finish what I set out to do. In fact, I've done a lot of those things. I've climbed corporate ladders. I've built businesses and then failed at them, and still have been lost. And then that's why, and I knew that I always wanted to write, and I knew that, and I put all that aside. It's one reason I didn't go to school, is because I was afraid I was going to become one of those people. I was so deathly afraid of it. And even though I had it paid for, I didn't go. But I knew that I wanted to finish what I started. And I started, when we talk about the journalism thing, it's always been there for me. Even when you think about it, yours is when you were young and got to a sports magazine. It's just because it was a topic that had interest for you.
Right.
Now, me, I can write about anything. I'm not a sports person at all because I could care less about it. And I think we spend way more time on sports than is healthy. In fact, I think it hurts the children because people think that everybody's got to be a pro. And a lot of time it takes a lot of church. I can go all that. But anyway, I started back doing this because I knew I had to change the direction the media was going. And I also was tired. I wanted to fight for the defenseless and wanted to take on the bullies in every area that is in there. Right. And when I talk about bullies, I'm talking about those who lie to people, those who get an authority over them and destroy people's lives. And I wanted to shake down the ivory towers, and the way I could do it was through this that I've naturally always been very good at. And also, it would also get me to a springboard of I tried to build a production company at one time too. I didn't say that. And I was a teenager when I did that. So I was doing all that time when we were NBC. We were making movies and doing things like that. It was really great. But this was another reason I built built this and I built it. And I think that that's why when you start to think about how everything kind of just occurred, the, the greatest accident of coincidence in the universe, you and I should have really never even met because we're really going different paths. And then we do that and we really literally have the same mentality about it, that it's ride or die. It's we are going to finish this and we're going to do this and we're going to make something better for people out there. And in doing that, we're also going to save people. That's the way I see it. And I see that this is a service. And do I see it as a profit machine? Yes, eventually, because the business has got to bring in income, but you can't grow and do even more without money. But the fact of the matter is, we've been doing this for free for a long time and very costly to travel and got to do there. We do it. But I think that's very interesting about that. That's where your pathway comes from. And because that's why it really is kind of like divine intervention and providence when it comes to how we really never would have run into each other if it wasn't for that, for COVID and BLM and stuff like that.
Right. Well, I wanted to join the Navy. And that's why I felt like I never finished anything, is because that was my goal. I wanted to be a Navy diver. That's where I wanted to be since I was a child. But in the 5th grade, I had a pencil stabbed directly in the pupil of my eye. So it messed up my eye exam. So I couldn't be a Navy diver. And so kind of like, you felt when you came out with the back injury, it was like, this is what I've always wanted to do. And now everything is changed. Am I ever going to be able to complete anything that I wanted to do? And no, I didn't I wasn't able to complete the things I wanted to, but God had me on the path He wanted me on. So it paid off.
Yeah. So let me do one last question here, and then we're going to go, and I'll look in the comments and see if anybody wants to ask us anything. If not, we'll round it out for the night. Obviously, if you guys watch any content that we put out, you find out all kinds of things about us. You just got to listen, especially me. I'm very transparent. If you go look at any kind of program that I've ever done, many people have walked with me during very tough periods of doing this and things that are personal. So people know pretty much a lot of things that, I've gone through, and you could tell. So it would just, you just got to listen. But because I tell of some of my struggles simply for the fact that I see myself as called to be a leader. And when people see realistically what you're going through, but you keep going through it, and then when you do succeed, it makes it that much even better for them, because they may be going through something similar, and you change their lives forever, because if you can do it, they can do it. And that's the way I've always treated people. Unless I just don't like you, and you would know if I don't like you very quickly. It doesn't take me long. But so let me ask you this one question. I think this is a very important question, especially when we talk about everything that you do as a journalist and the people that you choose to cover. But and after hearing some of your story and the way that your problems in the life, and especially when you talk about the lack of a father and how that affected you emotionally and all of that, are you somebody who can be emotionally manipulated, and by somebody who makes you feel so good by making you part of a love fest, can manipulate you and keep you from seeing objectively when you're with them? Are you that person?
I'm not sure I'm understanding exactly what you're asking.
Okay, so are you somebody that could be, because of what you've been through, or anything for that matter, that could be emotionally manipulated by anybody that will make you feel a part of them.
Absolutely
And
not.
therefore you can't be objective because of that.
I am very fact-based. I am not the quickest to trust anyone, and I have to see facts before I let anyone in, period. So no, I'm not gauged very easily at all by things like that.
So you'd say you're like me. I'm not easily flattered.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
And I don't get starstruck, and I could care less who you say you
Yeah.
are. I don't.
Yeah.
It's all facts with me. I've got to see the facts, because anybody can tell me anything. The bum on the street that has absolutely nothing and is sleeping on the sidewalk can come to me and tell me he's a billionaire. But if I'm seeing him sleeping on the sidewalk every night, there's no facts to show that.
Right. And then nobody can make you, just because nobody can manipulate you to their side by making you feel good and a part of something, in other words.
No, definitely not.
Right. So yeah, I'm definitely the same way. I don't really care about, now I do admire certain things that people have done, and I can admire some of that, but in the end, all I care about is, I don't care what you've done, I care about what you're doing. And
Right.
because you could have been like, you see, I'm from the military, and I'm telling you, I've been around people that were in that aren't worth a damn anymore as people. I mean, we've even seen that with politicians. We just saw one get voted out, Dan Crenshaw, but he had a very great military career. And as somebody that wanted that, I admired that kind of courage and ability that they got to do what I wanted to do. But anyway, so I think that's a pretty good start for us tonight. So let's see. I'm going to take a couple of questions. If anybody has any questions, I'm looking at the chat right now. Ask it now, but if not, we'll go ahead and head out for the night. So Allie asks, where do you want to see yourselves in TBT by the end of the year? What are your goals for TBT? So obviously we have different programming. It's all encompassed under what I've been building with Battlefront Broadcasting Network. So as a whole Battlefront Broadcasting Network, I want to see by the end of the year that one, I can quit the job that I'm in. Okay. I got to get out of that because it really does interfere. Because this kind of industry, if you're not doing 18 hours a day, you're getting beat in it. And it's very competitive. And it takes a lot of time to do investigative work, which is what I do and what Beverly does, but you can't do all of that if you're distracted with other things. So obviously I need to get it in a profitable Battlefront Broadcast Network, because you got to pay for travel, you got to pay for other expenses, filing certain documentation and gaining ground on things like that. That all requires funds. So obviously I see that there. Now, truth be told, we started this one. Obviously, Battlefront Frontline was one of mine. I had Battlefront Southgate, the BFB Live Field Report, which is one of the ones that we started out with when we started doing this, was because that was raw feeds and on the ground reporting. And that's where that came from. Like to go back to that. In fact, I'm probably going to be bringing that back here soon. In fact, Southgate's going to be coming back. Probably going to be doing a nightly thing here very soon. But I've been working on that for some time. Truth be told, we want to make this a very strong investigative work. We've always, Beverly, at least we've spoken, that we wanted to see this from an expose point, and bringing out that's why it's called Truth Be Told, because we wanted to do exposés very strongly on here. So by the end of the year, I hope that we're doing a lot more of those. I hope to uncover by the end of the year that we break this in about people like the sheriff in California from Riverside, which is what's his name? Sheriff. Gosh, it just slipped my mind right now, but he knows who he is. get the truth out of him and other people there. And this is because a lot of things that um, everything with Allie and that we've been investigating with this. So I want to be able to clear a lot of those issues out. I hope that we break some ground here with Epstein files and stuff. That's a very near thing to me. I think that, and I'd like some people to come to justice on that. So that's where I see it. Where do you see us, Beverly? What would you say?
Exactly that. Yeah, I see us focusing on a lot more exposés and a lot more uh, stories that we can help others with, like the human trafficking. That's something that everybody needs to wake up and take notice on and put a stop to. And if we don't know about it, we can't put a stop to it. And yes, the Epstein files, they're they're shedding a light on it, but why did it take the Epstein files to get people to pay attention? I think people need to start hearing more exposure from people like us, so that they can start following suit and trying to do something proactive against it.
Right. So Jay Blake asked this. This is a good question. How did you and Beverly meet? So, we like I said, that's why it's by any coincidence of anything in the universe, it would have never happened. I was a public affairs officer for the militia that was here, and one of the guys that was in my militia, Beverly did a lot of work there on the border, and she had been working them really hard to get with them, and so he introduced us. I can't remember the exact thing, to be honest with you. It's just like, hey, you two need to get together and work together. And especially when we was talking about the southern, I think it's because we were supposed to do the southern border thing. They wanted us down there because they wanted us covering it. Because we were objective on stuff. Beverly and I, we don't grift. We earned the trust of our sources, and that's how we met. So basically, if it was fighting for the southern border and militia members that knew us separate from one another and said, these are the only two trusted news sources out there, and brought us together. That's where that
happened. A long time.
Yeah. I got one. Chad Bianco, thank you for that. Good Lord. His name escapes me all the time, and I just don't know why. But she wants to know, can you still remember how to sign?
Yes, vaguely. I mean, I'm not a little rusty, but yes, we actually have some deaf people in our community that I talk to on a regular, because they're kind of a forgotten community. They don't have a lot of people that can talk to them.
Right. I think my wife can sign too. Don't take me at my full word on that though. But I think that Claire does know sign language too. Sometimes I wish that's all she spoke, but I hope she ain't listening when I said that.
Oh, I'm calling her after the show.
So I got one for this one. As Kat asks, do you still work with horses because they're very healing?
I don't right now. I don't have any here. I love horses, and you're right, they are very healing. I try to get out and go riding as much as possible, but right now I don't have any.
Was I the dude at the rally? I think that's you're referring to what she said earlier about the one that got her into journalism. No, no. Like I said,
No.
we were we we're 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 far from each other, but not that far from each other. It really, literally, is because both of us had the same source. One of them, he was a guy who was in my militia, but then he ended up we broke up after 2020 because everybody got the hell out of Dodge because of what happened during that. And I wasn't scared, but everybody, guys, sometimes militias fight, and and it happens. But so I won't say his name or anything because he's still a source for many things. But he saw that we need to be there covering what he was telling us about the border. She was doing that work there. In fact, she even met many patriot groups. You might also remember, any of you guys could go and look at our content and see Sam Hall that we've interviewed. But basically, he said, "Hey, these are the two my only ones that I think are accurate, that aren't lying and are trustworthy." And he put us together and we met on the phone. And from there, we were like, boom, doing Reawaken America tour, everything, just getting as much on the ground that we could. So that's where that came from. But
I think after 2 weeks, we went to CPAC, right?
Yes.
In Dallas.
Yes. So the VW parts job, it's very well. I make a decent living there. It's not what I want to do, but yeah, I mean, obviously that's the truth. I am there, and it's not a secret for anyone out there because I talk about me working in the automotive industry quite frequently on Battlefront Frontline. So it's not like some super sleuths out there figured it out. But yeah, I don't. It's not what I'm going to do with my life. It was a temporary thing because sometimes you have to take a job when you're building a business. That is just the way it is. And I do not mix the two. Everybody knows what I do. They knew what I did before I started there because I was building this before I started there. But it provides, it keeps my wife happy and doing what she needs to do with our children. And there's value in all work, but not all work is sustainable for other things. So yes, I mean, you all need to have on that. So yeah, yes, 100%. Not a big deal there. Gosh, I think I lost the feed there. So, I lied about what? Lied about what? Say it. Anyway, so yes, if you think about dropping by, I'd not recommend that, by the way, as many of you have called for that. I mean, you guys think that you like got me by the balls or something. You really don't. And nobody lied about anything. I'm very, very, very truthful about everything. But goes both ways. So you could, I'll just put that out there. If you notice, I don't talk about people really on here because it's unproductive and it has nothing to do with anything with it. And I don't like also giving platform to other people who don't deserve it. And so I'm not going to talk about that. But so if my
if I may say something about that whole lying on anything or anything like that, I do recall multiple times when we have done stories that we have said, if there's anybody out there that has anything they need to say, contact us. And we have gotten no contacts from the people that are speaking against us. If they have something to say, they are free to contact and we will discuss it. on air even, but have they one time said, hey, we're here, we want to talk about this, we have evidence? Not one of them have had evidence that they brought out against anything.
No, but you notice though that obviously people somebody get this asshole off of my feed. He's an idiot. He's saying stupid stuff. I'm not even going to answer this guy anymore. But the fact of the matter is nobody's threatened anybody except other people have threatened me. And I'll say that as a fact, and I got the proof of it. And notice that I really don't care about it because it doesn't worry me because you know what you know. And the fact of the matter is nothing's been secret here. Do I talk about wire work all the time? No, because it's unnecessary. Don't need to do all of that. But obviously you have to protect other people and things. So there you have it. You know, I do not like affecting other people in anything. And so whenever you try to do what you do, you just have to protect the other people because not everything's about yourself. Like certain people don't seem to get. But I do not like affecting other people with anything that I do. So that's my stance on all of that. And you can say what you want to, but I even knew who you were when I answered the question, and I still answered it. So that's here live and on camera, and everybody just witnessed it. There you have it. Because I'm not like you think I'm running from you or something. You got the answer, and you know it's not like it's a secret. Which tells me everything that you think that you go out there and you do a little bit of cursory search, which you know a baby could do, and then you say these things because you're looking to harm other people that's got nothing to do with me, and I've done nothing to any of you. I've reacted to some of the things that you've done. But I'm not directly going at you. The only one I've ever mentioned by name was one person, and that's because that person wouldn't shut up about me, just because that person didn't like somebody I interviewed, and that's not my problem. So, you know, I'm not going to sit here and go more into this. That's not why we did this program, but you got your answer. You can frame anything you want to about what you think I said, or how it was said, or why it was said. I don't threaten people of harm. I do not do that. I never have. You could go back and look about that. All that was said, and this is the last thing I'll say about that, just because we're here live and that was said, is that talking about the facts. When I say anything, I'm talking about coming for facts. That's all that is. But you can wield that in any way that you would want to. But I've even said countless times, you guys, the people need to stop making everything so personal. And it's not supposed to be personal. You just lay out the facts and you reveal the facts. And then anybody's take on those or whatever their opinions of those, they have the right to have those. I believe that this is a free America. But you don't have the right to go and try to tell a lot of people, to go around trying to put people's address out and telling them that this is where they live, even though that's not true, many of it. And you, like I said, taking small truths and mixing it all the rest with lies. That's not proper. It's also borderline illegal. And that's threatening people. That's wrong. And if you've ever noticed, even though I got the information, I don't go on here doing that. You know why? Because I don't need some other side going after anybody else that has a different take in opposition to what I have on here or a guest says on here. That's for you to deal with. But we should be making some kind of personal things and accusations and rumors and falsehoods that aren't true. And I think that is just at the basic level of common sense and being an adult is what you do. And it's fine to disagree, but going and do other things is not disagreement. It's crime. And it's annoying. And sometimes you have to call it out and put a stop to it. So that's what I do. And that's what I'll always do. But, you know, you're doing something wrong, you're gonna get found out about it. That's just the way the world works. It's God's design. So with that said, all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and cut these off. I know you guys don't need to be hearing about all of this and stuff, but at least I addressed live one as if I would ignore that and they're going. I was hoping one would do that, as a matter of fact, so that you could be addressed right then and there. So you got it live here on the internet, and that's there. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and end this for tonight. Got other things that we got to be doing. I'm starting to lose my voice again, but I appreciate everyone coming on here, all the support that you do. And for those that don't like the things that we're saying, you perfectly have every right to not like what we say or what a guest says. Just don't have the right to go and lie about people and to start trying to send people after people, to do tribalism or put other people's lives at risk and stuff. You can disagree all that you like. Keep it professional. That's the way it goes. And that's the way it should be. So clip that out and put that out there on the internet, because I just stated the way things work. And anybody that goes to saying I said something different, you heard it all in one thing. So good luck to those people, by the way. You have every right to go and say whatever you want to, but you have the right to do other things. I'll leave it at that. And you got to take a look in the mirror and deal with that yourself. I can't change that for you. Anyway, so let's go ahead and so Beverly, I guess that's it for us tonight. I hope that everybody has a good night, and we'll see you guys. We're back up. Lord willing, nothing else happens. And even pray for your enemies. So I will pray for every single person that even does not like me and continues to say the things they do. I hope that things go better in your lives. And I hope that you find a way to deal with any kind of issues you might be having. And I hope the best for you, all of you, every single one of you, on everything, even the people that don't like this program and disagree with me. I hope that you get success in life. And I hope that your families get along and everything goes great for you, because I don't want anything to happen bad to you, but the facts are the facts. So let's go ahead and head out, guys. See you all later. Keep supporting us. Thank you for joining us.
Can I throw something out here, Dustin, real quick?
Go ahead. Yeah, sure.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to say, the original reason we started the human trafficking stories and everything was to shed light on human trafficking and the things that are going on with that. And right now we have a large group of people that are scheduling nationwide protests and rallies. And if you see one in your area, please join in with that. There's going to be one every week nationwide. Late in May, there will be a huge rally, a huge event that will be broadcasted nationwide as well. So get involved with that, because it's affecting a child. It's affecting what happens with them, and we need to shed light on what's going on with the kids. So let's all get out there and rally for that.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, see, I got distracted with something and almost forgot that. I'm glad that you remember, because I would have went out and then I would have been kicking myself. And so there's one there Saturday, right, in San Diego, right? I was trying to look it up, obviously. Got distracted, and I shouldn't have let it distract me, but I felt that person deserved an answer.
I've been sharing the flyers on my Facebook, if anybody has me on Facebook or what have you. But people are sharing the flyers everywhere for the locations.
Yeah. So there's one in Waterfront Park in San Diego. Starts at 10. So if you guys are in any of those areas, yeah, definitely. Allie and them have worked really hard on these, and all of the other people that are here work really hard on these. But it's for a good cause. Even as I'm sitting here and I'm speaking about all of this, that even the people that don't seem to agree with things we all just really agree on this one fact here. We got to stop human trafficking. We got to stop the harm to children, and we got to. And can't we set aside personalities for this? I mean, it's stupid. it's the most ridiculous thing. I mean, but it's just the way it is. Some people are going to do what they do. But that's on you now. You're not going to get any of that from me. I got work to do. Beverly's got work to do. And so I think that after tonight, I've already stated this to many other people that I'm not going to entertain those things. I don't have time for it. I find it unprofessional. And we have a job to do here, and we're going to get the job done. And so all of the other stuff is just, poop on the wall, man. I'm going to walk past it or whatever. None of us need to. I don't participate in that game. I've been through it before. And it honestly is just a way for somebody to get a fan base, and that fan base will always be small. So, but people who do work and get work done, prove themselves, and that's what we're gonna do. So, guys, check those marches out. Check out all of the social media. There, you can that is being shared, and we'll see you guys next week. I'll be probably. I'm supposed to have another show for Battlefront Frontline out this weekend. We'll see how that goes. I'm trying to get it out for tomorrow. It's a good one. They're always good. But anyway, guys, keep on going and doing what you're doing. And anybody that's got anything else to say, God bless you. God bless you. All right, we'll catch you guys later. Have a good night.
Good night.